Today we're going to learn to complete the square. You will have these notes. Complete the square. Basically, you're taking half the middle term, so whatever your middle term is right here, you're taking half of it. And squaring it. Then add it to both sides of the equation. So we would take half of b, which would be b over 2, and square it. Incidentally, b over 2 squared is going to be one of your factors when we factor it, which is right here. And we're going to get to that, so this would be b over 2 squared. Now, if you have this equation right here, where we look at x squared plus 12x plus c, and we're just trying to find what c is. We take half the middle term, which is 12, that would give you 6. Then you'd square 6, which would give you 36. Then replace c with 36. So we're replacing. So for a perfect trinomial square, it would be x squared plus 12x plus 36. Now look, you have this 6 right here. If we factored it, this is going to be x plus 6 times x plus 6. Your factor. You're going to need that in a little bit. Go to the next page. We just want to find c. You take half the middle term. So you take half of negative 24 divided by 2 and it's squared. Well, this will give you a negative 12 squared, which will give you a positive 144. So here you have x squared minus 24x plus 144. So c was 144. Then, remember too, you take half of 10, which all of you know is 5. Well, sorry, I'm writing 5 and not writing what I need to not the square. Half of 10, which is 5, and square it, which would be 25. So c is 25, and you get x squared plus 10x plus 25. Alright, now let's do a completing the square problem, where a is 1. And here, your lead coefficient, right here, always has to be 1. If it's not 1, like it will be in the next problem, we are going to make it 1. So I'll show you that in a minute. Anyhow. First thing is subtract over the 13. So you have x squared minus 10x plus something, and I don't know what this is, equals my 13, sorry, my minus 13. Plus this same something. Well, this something is where you take half the middle term. So we took half of it, and then we're going to square it. So this is negative 5, we're going to square it, which is 25. So you add that to both sides. Alright, so now you'll see that we have right here a perfect trinomial square. And x squared minus 10x plus 25 will equal 12. This breaks down to x minus 5 times x minus 5 equals 12. They're two of the same thing, so we can say x minus 5, the quantity squared, equals 12. Now you're going to have to solve like we did yesterday. You're going to take the square root of both sides. So you're going to get x minus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of 12. Plus or minus the square root of 12 is really 4 times 3, guys. So we're going to simplify this. So come up here. Okay. And you're going to have x minus 5 equals plus or minus 2 square roots of 3. Because the square root of 12 is 2 square roots of 3. Add the 5. 5 plus or minus 2 square roots of 3. There are two answers. 5 plus 2 square roots of 3 and 5 minus 2 square roots of 3. These are your two answers. Pause if necessary. Now here you'll see that your lead coefficient right here is not, that's not 1. We have to make it 1. You have to force it to be 1. So, to force it to be 1, I'm dividing the whole thing by 3. I'm dividing by 3 whether it goes in evenly or not. This one, it will go in evenly. Leaving me with x squared minus 4x plus 9 equals 0. I'm going to bring the 9 over. X squared minus 4x plus something 9 plus something. Well, that something is half your middle term squared. Negative 4 is my middle term. I take half of it. So half of negative 4 is negative 2 squared is 4. This 4 gets put in to these two boxes. You add it to both sides. So plus 4 plus 4. Now you have x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals a negative 5. Perfect trinomial square, and we can factor it. X minus 2 times x minus 2 equals negative 5. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but this piece will always be your factors. Always. Always, always. So, x minus 2, the quantity squared, equals negative 5. Square root both sides. Now, don't forget that we're going to have an I, because you get the square root of negative 5, which is going to be x minus 2 equals plus or minus I squared to 5. Add the 2, x is going to equal 2 plus or minus I squared to 5. So we can have imaginary numbers or complex numbers. There we go. Solve this by completing the square. So the lead coefficient I checked is 1. We're good. We don't have to divide by anything. We can subtract the 7. X squared minus 8x plus something equals my negative 7 plus something. So half my middle term, which would be a negative 4, we're going to square it, and that's going to equal 16. Again, this 16 is going to go into the boxes. So that's going to give me x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals what? That's going to give me a 9. So write down your 9. And then this is a perfect trinomial square. It's x minus 4 times x minus 4. It equals 9. Again, it's x minus 4 there. 2 of them it is squared. Now, we're going to square root both sides. And you're going to get x minus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 9, which happens to be a 3. It's a whole number. So then you add the 4, and you're going to get x equals 4 plus or minus 3. Which is really x equals 4 plus 3, which is 7, and x equals 4 minus 3, which is 1. So these are your two answers, a 7 and a 1, both of them. When we look at this, we look and see our lead coefficient. Is it 1? No. So you divide the entire thing by 2, leaving me x squared minus 10x plus 24 equals 0. Bring the 24 over. I will get x squared minus 10x equals a negative 24. But I'm going to have to add something to it. That thing we add to it, you take half the middle term and you square it. Well, half of negative 10 is negative 5. Squared is 25. And this goes into our boxes. So you have x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals what? That's a 1. Perfect trinomial square. It's x minus 5, x minus 5 equals 1. You get x minus 5, the quantity squared, equals 1. I will square root each side. I will get x minus 5 equals plus or minus 1. Because the square root of 1 is 1, we have to have our plus or minus there. So x minus 5 equals plus or minus 1. Add the 5 over. And again, you will get two real numbers. 5 plus 1 equals 6, and x equals 5 minus 1, which equals 4. These are my two answers, what x equals. We're not going to do vertex 4, we're going to give you problems for today, so hold up here.